Okay.
All right.
So yeah, like this was, I think, one of those reversal trades, it was a downtrend. And then this, like there are two small zones. The one on top is, I think, the more like an hourly or 4 hour zone, but I did not draw it that well. I see right now. I'm like, I'm looking back and it's like, it's like such a bad, you know, like it was just, I would not enter it right now, to be honest. And then the second one, the fat one, is where I entered. That's when I thought like, okay, the price hit is probably going to reverse. So this, I just broke my rules and just like entered this trade because like not follow any rules.
Yeah, you see, so that's why I asked you like 5 times a second ago, like, were most of these trades breaks and retests? And you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
yes, you think so. So this one wasn't. So
No,
like,
no,
and keep in mind, man, there's nothing wrong with trading bounces of support. There's nothing wrong with trading reversals, quote unquote. That's all okay. However, you have to have a systemized approach around that. Otherwise, if you have one system, but then you're doing something else, it makes it really difficult to track the data if everything
yeah.
is not uniformly aligned with what the trading system is. So let's go and pick another one here. I'm gonna pick something random. Let me just pick this screenshot here and we'll see. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you one question here and you give me
Mhm.
a yes or no, and that's it, okay? Was this a break and retest?
Yes.
Okay, which zone did it break?
It broke the resistance zone the first, like when it came up. Actually, like, yeah, it's just like the,
So let's make sure we're on the same page with what break and retest is. Price
Mhm.
comes and bounces as support somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's a support zone right there. And then what does price have to do next?
To hit that same zone,
So it breaks the zone, and then what does it have to do?
retest it.
Okay, so then it has to come up here, and then what does it have to do before you enter?
It needs to like bounce a couple of times and then I entered
Yeah.
for a sell usually.
Yeah, just some shit like where it's just like, hey, we can't get back above the zone, so then it starts to fail, then you enter. Cool. So this is a break or retest right here. I would agree. I'm with you. So
Yes,
now
yes.
let's go back and look at this one. Was this right here a break and retest?
No, 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 no. This is a clear example of me searching for trades that aren't even supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I don't blame you one bit, man. Trading is it's as you've experienced, it's a very subjective thing. And so
Yeah.
whenever you're going into trades, you are the best person at talking yourself into all sorts of trades for any reason, even if there's nothing there. That's
Mhm.
why it's important to just have a trading system in the first place, just like you do. But that's why it's just as important to follow that trading system, especially when you're beginning, because that's where you get the data. That's where you have like, this is a framework for what I can consistently do over and over again. And then I can get the statistics to see how it actually works. Then over time, you develop your intuition, experience, you learn to stay out of certain trades, this and that. But it all comes back to just having a structured trading system, which is what you do. And the second thing comes back to actually following that system. So in this case, this wasn't a break or retest, was it?
No, 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 no.
Okay, cool. Now it did work out right here, but it looks like you just had kind of a tight stop loss right here. I have a
Yeah,
question
yeah.
for you. Do you
Mhm.
have a set stop loss risk to reward ratio?
Yeah, I do 1 to 3. So like I calculate my pips, I go calculate the lot sizes, and then I enter like how, like if I have, like if my stop is 30 pips, I put it in the calculator, 30 pips, and then I get the lot size and I put it in MetaTrader. It's usually 1 to 3. That's the risk reward. And it's
Okay.
like,
Is there a reason that you've chosen to just pick 1 to 3?
because I actually had my old strategy that I used to do like a Wyckoff reversal pattern. Like I have it, I have maybe, I don't know, I can show you notes about
No,
it or
you,
something.
yeah, you don't have to show me, but just explain to me
Okay.
why it's 1 to 3.
It's like, it's just like something I picked, like, like not 1 against 1, not 1 against 2, just to have like 1 against 3. So if, like one trade fucks up or two trades, I can like win back the 3 with the 1 to 3. And it's like I've back tested the old strategy. It's usually when entered, it usually used to work out like almost perfectly. And that is why I kind of implemented into this approach, and I didn't spend that much time backtesting. Like the old one, I did like maybe like a couple of years of like maybe like 6 months of price data. I would do it, and I was doing it on the 15-minute, so like I had maybe like 46 trades or something, and the win loss was like 65% win, 30% loss, maybe 5% break even, and it's like was like a set 1 to 3 risk reward. I don't do that. I just enter, I leave it, it hits 50%, I move to break even, I just like step back. If it goes to break even, okay. If it goes up, it's okay. Like I did not know like anything about partial profits or anything of that nature. And I just kind of put it in here because it's just something I'm familiar with. I'm like, maybe a 1-to-1 could work also, but I'm like, I haven't tried it, so like I don't really have the confidence to do it,
Okay.
That's
Why not something like 1 to 6 risk reward? Why not that?
like I have like after reviewing the last week, I checked. I could have held some trades to 1 to 6 if I would have held it to the like old 4-hour zone, old daily zone, So like, yeah, it's something that I've been kind of thinking about. Like if it's like a nice trend, just enter and just leave it, But it's just like I haven't really tried it, or
All right. So
Put it-
why not 1-to-1?
That's the thing, man. I don't know. I've never tried it. It's like maybe I'm not like, it's just some programming I have in my head. I'm just having this like fixed 1 to 3. It's just like a programmed thing because I've had experience with it. So I'm open to everything, to be honest. I'm open to experimenting with everything
That's
and seeing
right.
what works. I'm not like religious about this thing. It's like I'll
It's
do
okay. Well,
everything.
the almighty 1 to 3. We worship the
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay, so since you're open to this, I'll tell you what, man. Why don't you and I create you an updated version of your own trading system right now, and it'll be rules based, and we'll keep it super simple. So that means for every trade, you can
Mhm.
literally be like a degenerate chimpanzee that's retarded, but you'll still be able to follow it.
Yeah,
Fair enough?
awesome.
Okay. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to go to my charts in trading view. We'll use the text function here to put this in, and then I'll copy and paste it into the Zoom chat after we finish. And after we finish, you will then take it while we're here on this call. We'll put it here at the top of your trading journal. So you can just space all this downwards and we'll put it at the top. That way,
Mhm.
for every damn trade, you'll have all your rules right there. So that way it's
That's-
black and white to follow. Either it meets the rules or it doesn't. Fair enough?
Do I have to open it like to let you like to right inside or something on the Google Sheets? Because I think it's just for viewer.
Yeah, so what we'll do is after we put the trading rules
Oh.
together, I'll send those to you here in the Zoom chat. You'll copy and
Oh.
paste them, and then
Oh,
you'll go
okay,
and you'll
okay.
type them in there. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so let's go. Let's simplify this shit for you so that way it's not hard anymore. So we can pick a time frame, any time frame, and since you use the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily chart, I think my suggestion would be let's just take the average of those two, which is the 4 hour. And this will be the time zone where you look at to mark your horizontal zones. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do you prefer H4 or do you prefer the 4H like that?
I don't care.
You don't give a shit? Fuck, I don't even know. I interchange it. So we'll do price has forms a clear H4 support. And I'll just put sub res that because it can be interchangeable.
Yeah. Super.
That's the first rule. So that means this first rule, you will look at a chart and you'll have to see that there has clearly already been a clear, obvious on the 4 hour chart, clear, obvious support or resistance. That's your first. If you look at the chart and there's no clear support resistance zone on the 4 hour next to where price is at,
Yeah.
next pair.
Mhm.
Okay. Just like a chick at the bar. You meet a girl at the bar and she's like, Careless, I have herpes. Do you want to fuck me? You're like, nope, next trade.
Good.
So we'll put number 1 right here. So number 2. So
Mhm.
price clearly breaks past the H4 sub res. one thing that I mean here by clearly is that it's generally better, and of course you'll be able to test this and see it firsthand, but it's generally better where if you've got like a support resistance zone, right? Price has been
Mhm.
banging us support in there, dwindles out, breaks below it. We don't want anything like this. Because what happens here is the same situation that happened to you on US 30. This could
Mhm.
still be the support zone, like on the daily, and it could, but then there's this lower time frame 1 hour zone, and you're like, what the fuck? Which one is it? What do I do? Creates a lot of
Mhm.
confusion. So we don't want a zone where price barely cracks past it and comes back. Now, this can get funny because oftentimes this will still work and it'll still bounce right there and it's fine. But other
Yeah.
times it can just be a liquidity spike deeper into the zone before price
Mhm.
just pushes back up, tests, and then bounces. Kind of like what you're familiar with, like the liquidity springs and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
exactly what happened to you here. This, depending on how this level looked in the 4 hour daily, it probably wasn't even a bad trade. It was probably just your stop was so fucking tight, and then it
Mhm.
pinned, came back and tried to find resistance here, didn't
Mhm.
make a new low, and instead pushed back up. So in some cases, these will come back and test somewhere around the zone. When you have
Mhm.
like one zone here, but then you got the major one here, and you don't know. So you enter a buy because of this bounce, but it's also at the previous resistance, so then it
Yeah. Yeah.
fails. It's just, it's all sorts of bullshit. So that's why we'll avoid this ever happening again in the future by simply waiting for the second rule, which is price clearly breaks past the H4 support resistance. We want to see some shit like this, bro. We want to see price having a clear far break below it. And
Mhm.
then we want to see, you know, the next portion, which is where it works its way back up. So that way you're like, yeah, this is a clear break. It's not some little dipshit stuff where it barely goes past. Does this make
Yeah.
sense so far?
Mhm.
Okay. So let's go to rule number 3. So we'll do something right here. Price comes all the way back to the H4 support resistance and retests it. So let's make sure we're clear here. This is going to be really obvious, but like just so that way you remember this call and how painfully obvious it is, so you can
Yeah.
catch yourself in the future if you start doing some bullshit.
Mhm.
Is this right here a retest?
Nah,
Okay.
not yet. Not yet.
Is this right here a retest?
Not yet.
Okay.
So,
What about this right here? Now it's forming resistance. Is this
like,
a retest?
the thing is, I would say no, but me, when I'm in the market, I would be like, oh shit, I would start adjusting the fucking, thing, and I would probably enter. If
See,
I get like a little bit like, so
so that's what this is for right here. So then when this happens, you just put the trading rules over the chart so you can't see the chart. And then your trading rules are there flipping you off.
yeah, I need some like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you need some self-control. That's just what it is. But you get that through experience. That's why this is a good exercise. That's why I'm pointing this out, because this shit is going to happen to you. Then you're going to start being like, wait a second, now it's a fucking resistance. Now I can
yeah,
just still take it short for here, right? Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
You know,
here's the thing. This is not a retest. You know, you agree, I agree. You said, you know, when I'm in the live market trading scenario, though, I'll start wigging myself out and talking myself into the trade. Well, that ends starting right now, because now you
Mhm.
have this. Whenever whatever it means price comes all the way back up to the H4 support resistance, that means it gets all the way back up to, at the very least, the most recent low of the support and resistance zone.
Yeah.
If you have something where there's like a recent low like that, oftentimes like bounces like these will work out where it comes to that low. But usually what I find more reliable is to wait for it to really get up into the area where all the recent lows are. Because if you get like a nice pin up into that area, like a deep
Yeah.
retest, what that means is that if price starts reacting right there, it'll be really obvious to see it, because everyone who is remaining in buys at this zone is now closing at break even, like me. That's how I trade now.
Mhm.
And there's
Mhm.
also people entering fresh sell orders, so their pending orders are triggering the sell here at this zone. So I wait for it to push like deep. Like if you've got like a fucking zone like this where you've encapsulated all the lows and the wicks in the H4, generally you want price to push deep into that zone, because now you know, all right, for sure we've got like a nice fresh retest of this zone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So now we're here. We can work our way to rule number 4. So rule number 4, what would rule number 4 work like?
Price needs to go back and hit the all like the zone needs to come into the zone.
Yeah, but then price begins to reject it, right? So how would we word this? Price begins to reject the zone, showing evidence on the 1 hour with candle closures that indicates price can't break past the zone. Now, you could simplify this to just say price begins to reject the zone. And
Mhm.
after maybe a week or two, you can delete the rest of this shit right here. So we just know. But what this means is that you're going to be going to the zone. And then you have this rule here, and it's plain and simple. There's no way you can fuck this up. Price begins to reject the zone, showing evidence on the H1 with candle closures that indicates price can't break past the zone. So give me two examples. Just pick two examples of what price would have to look like on the H1 as far as the candlestick on the 1 hour. What would it have to look like to show you evidence that it's rejecting the zone in this scenario?
Like I would think it would need to close below, at least below the bullish candle. That's number one, and preferably like an engulfing, or like pinballs are also pretty cool, but
Yeah,
like
so it's like it's called a pin bar. You say
mm,
pinballs. Pinballs is like a game from the 70s that you play at a club.
yeah, but like it was with a big wick or something,
Yeah,
but
just a pin bar, so a huge wick on the top, close and blows in. Yeah, so you
okay.
already have it. It's any of those things. It doesn't have to be anything specific. What you're essentially trying to avoid is like when price just fucking smashes through the zone and it
Mhm.
does nothing. Now, keep in mind, you'll still have trades where price rejects the zone first. It's got like a bearish 1 hour closure followed by a bearish engulfing, but then
Mhm.
like price shoot the next candles right above the zone, and you're not
Yeah.
gonna get at, you're not gonna avoid that. But this will at least give you like a decent criteria for most of the time, avoiding the
Mhm.
trades where price just smashes straight through the zone.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, cool. And you can avoid a lot of this by just making sure the zone's really clear on the 4 hour. And you can
Yeah.
also avoid it by waiting for like a retest all the way into the zone. So, all right. So we'll put the last rule in here. Is this 5? If all of this occurs, enter a trade to profit from a bounce of the zone. Now, we're going to talk about your stop loss here.
Mhm.
There's no reason for you to not use a 1-to-6 risk reward ratio. There's no reason for you to not use a 1-to-20 risk reward ratio. And there's no reason for you to not use a 1-to-1. The situation that you're at in your trading is you're getting mixed results with profitability, sometimes break even, sometimes profitable, sometimes loss. Where
Mhm.
you're at right now is you simply don't have enough data to indicate that you can consistently produce a profit long term. Typically, it's like 2 months of data profitable overall. That's typically a good sign, like, okay, it'll probably be profitable for the rest of the year. But
Mhm.
currently, you don't have that. So what we do with a lot of clients, I know Jiraj and Stefan are really big on testing this. I'm sorry, or they're big on educating our clients on this, is that if you just start just for the beginning with just a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, you have a lot less things to worry about. And here's why. Number one, with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio for initial testing, you don't have to worry about getting a perfect entry. So if your entry is a little bit fucking down here, your target is like at the previous low and your stop is like up here, you don't have to worry about whether your entry is here or whether it's up here or wherever the hell it is. Like you don't have to worry.
Mhm.
And so that's the first thing, is you don't have to worry too much about your exact entry. You can focus more on the quality of the trade, making sure it aligns with the rules, and you can focus less on, fuck man, like my entry's here and my stop's here, but this is not a 1-to-3, so I'd have to
Yeah.
target a new low, or I'd have to
Mhm.
fucking like get my dick out and start jacking off so I can calm down, because like maybe I should wait for it to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
up
yeah.
here. But then if it gets up here, then your stop is so fucking tight it could stop you out. Having a 1-to-1 makes it real peaceful, for at least when you're
Mhm.
starting out, because it's you don't have to worry about much. You put a target at the previous low, you put a stop loss just above the resistance zone. And I mean, it's an easy target to hit if it works out. If it works out, it's an easy target to hit. If it doesn't, it breaks above the zone, you can start experimenting with things like, if it looks like it's going to be breaking above and it makes a sweep, you'll wait for it to come and retest so you could get out around break even. There's a lot of different things you can do, but just to keep it simple, what I'm going to suggest for you here is use here, we'll first do this. Set the long short position tool on trading view to target. Fucking hell, bro. It's so early in the morning. I just woke up and was having coffee when I emailed you.
It's all good, man. It's all
Long short
good.
position tool on trading view to target the previous recent high or low.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, this was good.
this will be dirt fucking easy for you to follow, bro. It'll be like
Yeah.
retardedly easy. You'll literally, if you somehow fuck this up, like even if it fails for the first week or two, it's fine because then you'll have the data to look. So don't expect to just be magically profitable. But this will ensure that you're at least following the same set of rules. That way, when a member of my team looks at your trading system and your data from like, a week or two, whenever your next one-on-one session is that you book,
Mhm.
they'll be able to clearly see that you've had a consistent set of trading decisions. And then it becomes very easy to pick out like the anomalies, like, oh, careless, check this out. Most of your trades end in a profit if you did this one thing right here. So then you can go in and you can add a little segment to your rules that says, hey, make sure to do this for all trades going forward. That increases
Mhm.
your win rate and it lowers your loss rate, things like that. But it comes very easy with this. All you got to do is whenever everything sets up perfectly on the chart, you put your entry, then the first thing you'll do is you'll just drag your target just to the previous low, just to
Mhm.
the previous low of that initial breakout. This also forces you to wait for those clear breakouts, because if you have a trade where it's just broken out like that much right there, and then it's like not even like, it's like all dicey and shit, it's like barely broken out. If you're
Mhm.
entering here and your stop is right there, I mean, this just becomes a really sketchy trade because everything is so tight and it could still push up a little bit more. So this ensures that you're waiting for those clear breakouts and a clear retest all the way back. And so you'll just set your target around the previous low. You can put it like just before. So yeah, just I'll leave it like target the previous recent higher low, but perhaps set it like just a little bit like before the previous low, just so that way with spreads
Yeah.
and shit, it'll still fill your TP. You'll still have a winning trade.
Mhm.
And then after that, the second thing is drag the stop loss at a 1-to-1 distance. So another cool thing that you'll notice is, especially if you're using H4 and also H1 for entries, the previous H1 highs, a lot of the time when you're doing this, your stop loss will be above those highs. Keep in mind, this is the zone that you would like price to reverse at, but price could still technically come all the way up to that previous high and not really be broken out of the trend. It could still come all the way up to this previous high, and it's not the greatest sign, but it's still, isn't necessarily broken out of the trend. Once it starts breaking too many recent highs and starts, like, we'll say that's a previous high. Once it starts breaking too many recent highs, that's when you start to think like, all right, we've broken a lot of resistance zones. Now it might be pulling back. And instead of continuing down, it might find support at one of these resistances and go up. So the cool thing about 1-to-1 is that your stop loss will generally be above at least the most recent 1-hour high, usually always. And then the better thing is that it gives it a little room. So that way, when you have bullshit like this happen, you generally won't get stopped out. Generally, sometimes you will, but you generally won't. And then the third beneficial thing this does is it allows you to manage your trade in a logical way. Okay. Trading rules are amazing. They allow you to have a structured approach for taking trades and entering and shit like that. Managing your trades is also, it's not a trading rule, it's not a science, it's just an art and it's a skill that you develop. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot in YouTube videos, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what that means is that when the trade no longer makes sense to stay in, it's probably gonna be a good idea to try to start maybe exiting the trade. An example would be as if you're in short right here and price pushes up to this zone and it
Mhm.
doesn't stop you out, but then it comes back here into this zone, tests and starts to bounce. Then it comes to a second time and starts to bounce right here. What does this look like to you?
Like this could be a formation of a head and shoulders, but like sometimes, your emotion would come in like, yeah, but I believe it's gonna go back, pass down, it continues going to the negative and you just get stopped out. So yeah, it's
Okay, so cool. So yeah, I mean, it could still work out. You could still be trying to hang on. Like I
yeah,
said, your
hanging on
mind,
things, it's not good.
your mind can tell you like, nah, bro, it's still in a downtrend. But even though
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right here, you're like, you have the opportunity to get out with no loss. You don't have to watch the trade anymore. You don't have to worry. You don't have to roll the dice and try to see like, oh, maybe it'll work out. Oftentimes you can manage your trades in such a way when you're using a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio on a higher time frame, because it avoids all the bullshit racket that occurs in the lower time frames and market spikes and liquidity pins in that. It's
Mhm.
nothing's more frustrated than taking a good trade that stops out and ends up going into profit. There's just no reason for that.
Mhm.
So that's why it allows you to do this. Now, listen, if you want to take your trades and just hold them all to the take profit or stop loss, that's fine.
Mhm.
However, just remember that that defeats a lot of the logic within your trading decisions. It's okay to make a subjective trading decision if something like this occurs. It's okay, even if it's not a trading rule. So what we can put in here is, and this will be a thing that you develop based on experience, is feel free to close the trade early when it or we'll put if, because we don't know, if it no longer makes sense. So, and we'll go through a few examples here just so we know you're on the same page. So whenever I say, feel free to close the trade early if it no longer makes sense, and we'll say, and document what you did, just so when my team's reading your journal, they'll see, okay, you closed early because whatever, and then you'll put it in your journal. That way you can start seeing what those decisions do.
Mhm.
So would it make sense to close the trade early if it starts doing this?
Now I wouldn't think so, no.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it looks like it's working, Would it make sense to close the trade early if it's doing this?
No, of course not.
Yeah, probably not. And so then it comes down here, your target, which is like right before the previous, fucking hell, bro, right here.
Mhm.
So it's like hits your target, everything's fine. So in that case, it's fine. So now let's go through another example, because this shit's gonna happen to you. So
Mhm.
would it make sense to close the trade early if it's doing this?
No,
No,
no.
probably not. It's working. What about if it comes back and touches your entry again?
It would make sense, but you could also maybe hope for like just a second bounce, maybe. But
Yeah.
yes.
So keep in mind, if you're
Mhm.
trading based off support and resistance zones, you're trading based on the logic that it's not going to break on the other side of the zone. That's kind of the
Mhm.
logic you want. Like discounting bullshit, like little pins past it, then it retests and comes back. You're making, by placing this trade, you're making the assertion that you have reason to believe that it's going to be bouncing from that zone and going down, and that it's not really going to be pushing above, because that's why you put your stop losses right above the zone. You're not expecting it to break. And so if it's not breaking the zone and you're trading off a support and resistance zone thinking that it's going to hold there, unless it's breaking the zone, you don't really have much of a reason to close, because what could happen here next?
It could go down, or it could go up.
Or it could go fucking sideways for 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
So yeah. So in this case, let's just say it comes back up to here. This will be a subjective thing that you have to learn over the course of your trading career, Careless. And by the way, am I saying your name right?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's not like Carolise or Caroline or anything. It's
No,
Careless.
no, just whatever.
All right, I don't
Whatever.
want to fuck it up, bro. My name's easy. It's just Nick, but your name,
Hey,
Careless Strasunskas.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Karolis Strasunska. Okay. All right. So right here, yeah, wouldn't make a lot of sense to close the trade. It's still fine. So what if it
Mhm.
bounces right here and goes down here? Would it make sense to close the trade right there early?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, yes and no, but probably not.
What do you mean yes and no? Why would you want to close the trade early here?
Because it's like it already formed a small support.
See, so your brain starts telling you tricks, man. Your brain's trying to trick you, man. You're trying to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
shit. So see, this is the cool part about trading the main zones. If this is like a main like 4 hour support resistance zone, this
yeah.
down here, it's had a huge bounce in the 4 hour. All you're focused on is you're focused on the main zones. The only moment you dip into the 1 hour is just to
Mhm.
see if there's rejection. And then as soon as you've determined that, you don't start going in there and like, you know what, I can get a fucking another zone right here. And then you go to the minute 15, you're like, bro, there's 3 more zones. Then you go to the fucking minute 1, you're like, bro, there's more zones. And you go to the 32nd.
Yeah,
Like, this is where you start to get kind of fucking crazy. If you just focus on saying, look, the 4 hour zones are all I'm going to be doing. When I go to the 1 hour chart, I'm not going to fucking touch anything on the chart. I will just be looking with my hands off the keyboard and mouse to see if there's
yeah.
rejection. Only thing I'm allowed to do on the 1 hour chart is switch it back to the 4 hour chart. So
Yeah.
that way you don't fuck anything up.
Yeah.
And if you use that logic, Careless, what it means is that you'll just be focusing on the main zones and you won't have to worry about all the little subzones in between, meaning you won't have to worry about shit like this. If it bounces there, cool, fuck it. You know, you're focused on the main 4 hour support resistance zones. That simplifies the fuck out of it, because then, I mean, you don't have to care if price starts doing shit like this and going sideways here for a second. I mean, you don't, it doesn't matter, you know, you don't have to worry about it. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Cool. So with that logic, meaning a little tiny zones in the 5 minute, 15 minute don't matter, would it be logical to close the trade right here?
No, of course not.
That's right. Okay. So now it breaks below this zone. Would it be logical to close the trade here and profit?
No.
Okay. So what if it comes back up here and touches this area? Would it be logical to close early?
Nah.
Okay. So comes down here. Would it be logical to close there?
No.
Okay. What about this?
Not yet. I'm not falling for
Oh
this,
yeah,
man.
I'm with you. So what about this? It starts doing this right here. Would it be logical to close there?
Yes, because you're like almost 80% the profit,
Yeah.
probably.
You see, so I agree with you. See, so this is where the subjectivity of trading comes in, right? Because what the fuck, your rules, Careless. It says you know, target, where's it, what the fuck is it? Target the previous recent high or low. You broke your trading rules, you motherfucker. Now you're
Yeah.
but it's like, if you have this rule in here which says feel free to close the trade early if it no longer makes sense,
Yeah.
right, to be in the trade. So in fact, let's simplify this even further. Feel free to close the trade early if it is logical to do so. So that way it's more, yeah, this just a little bit more simple. Feel free to close the trade early if it is logical to do so. So this right here, I'm with you. If it's if it's like 3 pips from the target and I'm like trying to go to bed and shit, and I'm like, and it's gonna be like only an extra like $300 if it hits the target, I'm gonna be like, fuck this, I'm out. I would just close it. Yeah. So in that case, it's there. And then you'll wake up the next morning and you'll see it did this.
Yeah.
You're like, shit. Okay, cool. So now let's run through another. Fuck. Hold on. Shit, I clicked it. Okay. Yeah. Whoops. I was trying to delete these, but whatever. We'll walk through one more situation here, and then we'll both take a look and make sure all the rules are fine. Then we'll put it in your trade journal, and then we'll discuss whatever else you need. So
Awesome.
we're gonna one more example right here. So it rejects. Let's say you enter right there. First thing, you drag your stop to your target. You put your stop at a 1-to-1. Right, cool. Now you're in. All right. So now the trade begins to unfold. So now it does this. I'll keep it quick so that way we're not wasting a ton of time. Logical to close here.
No.
Logical to close here.
No.
Here.
No.
Here.
No.
I'm with you. What about here?
Nope. No. I'm not.
Here.
No.
Here.
No, not yet.
Interesting. I agree with you. But why would you not close it right here?
I must hit the zones. If it doesn't break the zone, then I'm not gonna move.
Still in the fucking zone, bro. You're trading
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
zone,
I'm like,
literally.
I'm
Yeah.
keep my hands off.
Okay. Here.
Uh, not yet.
Okay. Here.
Mm, man. No, 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 no.
Okay, so see, this is where your discretion, your intuition, your experience, it's all coming in and it's affecting your decision making, because
Yeah.
you notice the way you thought, right? At first it was like not even a quite like it's going into profit. No, as it comes test, no, it's fine. It comes down, it's fine. But now you're like starting to be like, oh, you know, like what the fuck? Like, and so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's good. You want to make sure that you're actively being self-aware of these emotions and decisions and thoughts you're getting. And you want to be able to objectively ask yourself, you know, all right, why do I feel like I should close it right now? Like, you know, what's the logic behind it? Because that's our rule here is if it's logical to do so. So if it's logical to
Mhm.
do so, I can close the trade. There's no right or wrong answer to this, because even if you have a logical way to do it, you could still be wrong, right? Just randomly. You
Yeah.
could be like, I'm going to close it break even here, but then it keeps on going back into profit. And you're like, fuck, bro, that would have been a great trade. And you start being worried about it. So in the future, you're like, you know, I'm not going to close the trade here. And then it ends up going to stop and you're like, fuck, I could have closed it. So there's all sorts
Yeah,
of shit
yeah,
that'll
yeah,
happen. It's a
Mhm.
mental game. So keep in mind, there's no right or wrong answer for when it comes to intuition and discretionary based trading decisions. It's all your subjective opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. And the second thing to always remember is you're not always going to be right. You could literally do everything normal, everything the quote unquote your correct way of following your system. You could still be wrong, and that's okay. Don't
Mhm.
hold yourself accountable for fucking up one trade or two trades. You can start holding yourself accountable if it's been like 20, 30, 40, 50 trades and the same sort of thing has happened on all those trades. That's when you can start saying, all right, in the future, I should stop doing that. But anyway, the point is you'll get the experience doing this.
Mhm.
Listen to that little opinion, those little thoughts that come in, just like the way it caught you right here. You had to think for a second. You're probably like, well, you know, it's at a resistance zone right here still,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, yeah.
It
You
failed the
know,
zone. It made a lower low. So, I mean, I guess it's okay. All right. So what about right here? Is it logical to close the trade?
I would move my stop loss to break even, but I'm just not touch nothing. So I just not close it, not yet.
So you,
But
so what would you do?
just like if I would probably like at this stage move my stop loss to break even, but since we're not at that place yet, I just say I wouldn't touch it, and just let it roll. But
Okay.
it's not in my rules yet, so like I would,
So
but
your stop is at,
don't, yeah,
so
like
you'd hold it, but you'd move your stop loss to break even.
the old me, yes, but now I'm the new me. I gotta change
Yeah.
the shit. So like I wouldn't move it at all. I would just keep it how it is and just not close.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's give that a little bit of attention. So we haven't put it in the rules for you to
Mm.
move a stop to break even for a trade management technique that way. However, we could add it to the rules. The rules are all up for, changing whenever you want based on the data. However, let's look at the logic behind how that would work. Okay. Let's say, you're in this trade. You haven't moved the stop loss to break even. You're just kind of watching it.
Mhm.
What if price comes back up to here and you haven't fucked with your stop loss? Would you be exiting the trade right here?
No.
Well, why not?
That's a damn good question because I'm still hoping for the price to go down. I think.
I mean, it's still making lower lows and lower highs, it's still
Yeah,
holding the
yeah,
support
yeah.
resistance zone. So you said no. I mean, I agree with you. There's like no logical reason to close it right there. I mean, it's taken a while to work out. What we all
Mm.
want is just the first wave right back down, boom, target hit, go to the strip club,
Yeah.
everything's fine. But like when it starts doing this shit, it's like it's where you start having to you'll notice that all of this shit is like it's painful to watch. It goes back up, your alerts are hitting, it's going above, and you're going
Yeah,
back. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you'll notice the whole time your trading decision was do nothing.
Hmm.
That's why oftentimes, bro, what I'll do is I'll just set an alert above the zone, and I won't even fucking. I can't set an alert because we're back testing, but I'll just set an alert like right above like the recent highs, like a little bit clear above them. So that way I don't even fuck with anything unless it breaks the zone. I it's just It's just so much simpler. Like, because
Yeah.
everyone else can speculate, like, nah, bro, we're gonna go through, it's gonna break through it. We got to get out. It's going up and down. And then people start, like you said, like moving or stop to break even. And then it
Mm.
comes back and pins you at break even, but the trade still makes sense. And then, half the time it'll still end up going to your target. And you're like, I was out at break even. Why did I do that? Like everything still looked fine. I hadn't broke the zone. It was making lower lows. That's something to keep in mind. So,
Yeah.
like I said, feel free to close the trade early if it's logical to do so. If you would have a break even stop in place and your trade would be closing early right there at your break even stop loss, that wouldn't make logical sense to do so. So therefore, the logical thing to do would be not move the stop to break even in this specific situation. Do you see?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So right here, so you said no, you'd still be in the trade. So it goes down here to your target, hits the target. That's cool. All right. Now we'll do one more. And the reason I did this is because this whole situation in here gets you to actually start thinking about each individual segment of the trade as it unfolds step by step.
I just think I get too cocky and I think like, yeah, I can do this shit, and then like it's the like emotions or like telling me like, yeah, you can move your stop or all that shit, even though like I don't have any factual evidence to prove it.
Dude, I understand you, bro. We're both bald men who are sexy and we have huge dicks. It's okay to be cocky. I understand, man. I get in the same position. The key is to
Yeah.
catch yourself and catch your
Yes.
fucking
Yes.
ego when it starts
Mhm.
creeping into your mind, like, not careless, you deserve to win this trade. Stay in it. And you're just
Yeah.
like, I do deserve to win this trade. And boom, stop loss 8 times in a fucking row. Whatever the
Yeah.
fuck this
Like,
was.
seriously, what the
Like
fuck?
over a dozen trades. Stop, stop, stop. Yeah, your
The
ego
whole
gets.
week, the whole week.
Yeah, this is what it's like to feel like the sexy man who then gets fucked in the ass like every day for a week, and then you're like, I don't feel too good about myself anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll do the last example. I'll keep it quick. So you're
Mhm.
in, you enter, fits all the rules, comes up here. Do you close the trade?
No.
Okay. Comes up here. Now, you have a couple things you could do. The
Mhm.
answer is not a simple yes or no. The answer is whatever you want it to be. So if price does this, walk me through kind of what you think you would do in this situation.
Like I would not move it at all, because I already put like I already put the money in, it's there, like if I lose, I lose.
Okay.
But I think if it would go back down to the support zone, I might be thinking about like maybe exiting out and just kind of, taking a short L and just keep moving.
Okay, cool. So it was interesting the way your thought process was. You gave me a set of circumstances and a set of criteria for which you would do different things depending on what happens. So if it continues ripping up right here, you're out with your stop loss. You've already committed to the trade. You already know what this loss would have been, whatever it is, 100 euros, whatever it is you're doing. And so you've
Mhm.
already done that. However, you also mentioned something. You're like, but there is a criteria, Nick. If it comes back down in here, I would consider getting out of the trade if it came to support. That's what you said?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So let's say it starts, it comes down here and it touches the support resistance for the first time. There's no break below it, and there's also no rejection yet. Would you do anything right here? And if so, what?
Like you mean a candle, like a bearish candle close, right? There's no like bullish signs or nothing.
Yeah, we'll say, let's say we'll just say it's a 1 hour bearish candle close. It just touches the zone. There's no rejection yet, but it hasn't
Okay.
broken below either.
Uh, mm, no, I wouldn't close it.
You wouldn't close it. Okay. So then this happens. What would you do here?
And now I would just let it run, I think.
So you let it run. So by leaving it open,
Mhm.
you're making the indirect statement that you still believe that it's likely that price will continue down to this next area and hit your target, right?
Yes, yes.
So now what we'll do is we'll take off this little short position tool here and we'll just look at this right here. And I'll ask you to tell me, what do you think will happen right here?
Um, it's like a formation. Like we could either go up, probably continuation, because we see some more pressure to the top side. But I
Okay.
mean,
So, and also, wouldn't this kind of, let's just say it was something more like that.
mhm.
Wouldn't this almost kind of fit your trading criteria to enter a buy?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would, yeah.
Interesting, bro. So, but wait, so that wouldn't make sense though if you're in a cell right here, but you have you have the same trade that you're in set up literally picture perfect for a buy, but then you also say you would still stay in the cell. Do you see how that contradicts?
Yeah. Yes.
So a cool thing that you can do is while you're on TradingView, do you have a Mac for your computer or is it another PC?
Mac.
Mac. Okay, cool. So you can use the fuck is it? Command Z. Yeah. Okay. So the cool thing you can do is when you're in a trade and you're wondering how you should manage your trade, we tend to get a little bit emotional as you know, as humans, to look at it and see fuck it's in draw. I don't know what's gonna happen. So a quick way to look at it objectively is just delete your fucking thing from the chart. And then you can
Mhm.
always click Command Z to add it back, like, you know, but take it off the chart and ask yourself, like, would I still be entering a sell right now? Like, meaning based on what's occurring right now at this time, does it look compelling that price will be moving down?
No.
Yeah. So this case, you're like, no, not really. It's a break and retest for buys. We've got like a low here, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. We broke a
Like,
retested support. Go ahead.
unless I would be like, again, go psycho analyst, I would go down to the like 15-minute, see that the two small support, maybe I can enter a sell there. It's like,
Yeah.
but like it's just stupid, like it's just like,
Yeah, you'll start telling yourself some crazy shit like, no,
yeah.
this is a fucking resistance, bro. It's gonna
Yeah.
go, man. It's fine. It's gonna go. But then, it doesn't interact with your rules. You should be
Yeah.
able to always overlay your rules onto every single trade, and
Mhm.
the rules should then crunch down into like a software algorithm that still makes sense for the trade. If you can't put your rules over the trading setup and read them and then look back at the setup and they make sense, that means
Mhm.
that you're not following your trading rules. You have
Mhm.
to be honest with yourself about that, bro.
That's true. Yeah.
So when that happens, you have to be honest. So we'll go back to the initial cell we were in.
Mhm.
Fuck. Okay, here we go. Finally, here we go. So we're back here at this cell, and the question remains. Now it's broken above, it's tested, it started to bounce. Would you do anything to this trade?
I'd probably just exit.
Okay. So if you exit here, that means you're making the indirect assertion that you believe it's not that likely that price will go down anymore. Does that accurately reflect the way you feel?
Yeah, like it broke past the zone we tested and it's kind of moving up. So, yeah.
Yeah. Same here. So it's perfectly logical. So that's all the rule is. Close the trade early if it's logical to do so. Fuck yeah,
Mhm.
bro. Break a retest of the resistance turning into support, bouncing higher highs and higher lows. Fuck yeah, it's logical. So like in this case, you would have gotten out here if this was a €100 risk, you maybe lose 35 to 40 euros. Is
Mhm.
that you're in euros, aren't you?
Yeah, euros. Yeah.
Yeah, 244 euro. Okay, cool. Nice, bro. Some profits up in here, man. You're gonna have to transfer those to my BTC wallet sometime.
Hey.
275, bro. Shit, bro. I could pay my electricity bill with this. All right. So your decisions here make sense. Okay. Now, what happens after you close the trade and it just comes down to here? How do you feel?
Hey, man, I'd go for a walk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go for a walk. Yeah. We'll take a walk. We'll go maybe have a beer with the boys and like relax a little bit. But yeah, so you got to keep in mind this shit will happen to you. You'll start
Yeah.
psyching yourself out because you'll say, I could have fucking just stayed in, man. I could have stayed
Oh,
in. I would
yeah.
have been profitable. I had 200 euros, but now I'm fucking broke with minus 40 euros. That
Yeah.
shit's going to happen. But just as easily, you never know. It's like 50-50, right? It's just half it could go one way, the other half it could go the other way. It could
Mhm.
go up to here. And then you would have
Yeah.
been looking at this like swinging your big dick around in front of all your friends and the ladies at the bar saying, yeah, I closed that trade break even. Y'all are still in that trade. Pff, stupid bitches. I was out early, And so then you feel like a king whenever this happens. But keep in mind,
Yeah.
whenever you're exiting a trade, all you need to do is document what you did. So that way you can come back to the trade at the end of the week, which is what you should be doing. Just like in the Mission FX Full program, it teaches do a weekly review of all your trades, go back to the charts and look at the trades that you had closed. So you've got the exit screenshot, but you don't know what happened next. Go back and
Mhm.
look what happened next and put that in your trading journal. Document what you did, and we'll do this as well. And what happened after you exited. So yeah, I will just, yeah. So you might have to wait like a day or two for it to set up, or however, because sometimes it'll go sideways for another day and it's all sorts of shit. So you come back maybe like a day or two after and put like price went sideways, cool. Or you put like price went straight to the profit target. Okay, cool. Price went to the stop, went to where my stop loss would have been. It would have been a loser, but instead it was like minus 40 euros instead of 100 euros. What the importance of doing this, like documenting like what happened after you exited, that gives you data, so that way in the future you can look back and say, for the past month I've been closing trades early if this happened, and 73% of the time they would have gone to the stop loss. So that means I would have been more profitable had I continued just doing this. You can also find sometimes that like 73% of the times it continues to my original target, at which case then you will then have to modify your rules and say, okay, no longer close the trade at break even or anything like that. Just leave it the fuck alone, because from the data, that's what works better for you. It depends on your specific system and it's different from client to client. You will understand this by what the data says as long as you do this. Document what you did and what happened after you exited. Does this make sense?
Yes, yes.
So you're going to document every fucking trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take only trades that specifically meet with this trading criteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you against doing this?
No, 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 no. I'm just be a robotic machine, man.
Okay, perfect. You be a robotic machine when it comes to your trade entry. Be a little bit more like a professional basketball player with like some skill when it comes to the management, because the management will determine, like, there's no black and white rules for that, bro. Someone could be like, Careless, why'd you close the trade early? You just be like, bro, it didn't feel like it was gonna work. That's just me. If you want to stay in, that's cool. I wasn't comfortable with it. My intuitions were telling me that, yeah, it could still go, but I don't like how it's testing the support zone now and it's not acting as resistance anymore. You have your own reasons. It's never right or wrong. All that matters is what works for you, and you're gonna find that out through the data as long as you keep doing this right here.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do shit. Command C. Just make sure. And then you and I together right now are going to go put this in your trading journal. There's the rules there. You can copy and paste them. And are you able to, here, let me give you screen sharing. Yeah, you can share your screen right now. So share your screen once you close Pornhub and you get the trading journal pulled up.
One moment there. So wait, how do I share screen?
There will be a button at the bottom of the video call that says share screen, and you click that.
I found it. Desktop, right?
Yeah, desktop will be good.
No. Fucking system preferences, shit.
Yeah, whatever works. And if you run into too much trouble, just let me know.
That doesn't allow me to share. It's like, the Apple security thing.
Yeah, they're like, someone is viewing your screen.
Yeah, it's like allow dash below to record the contents, and I can't like click on them or like allow them.
Interesting.
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
So what we can do instead is you can just go and add these to the top of your trading journal.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, and then I'll just refresh the thing and I'll look at it. But just, yeah, maybe like, yeah, just drag a huge little like down thing up there.
Like you mean across, right?
Yeah, maybe like drag the number 1 box right here, like this right here, drag this little thing like down lower, so that way it opens up a bunch of white up here. Yeah, and then throw in the rules right there.
Okay, 1 second. What the fuck? Man.
Okay, so go to undo real quick and we'll try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then up there where it says the FX option right here, Click that, so that, and then paste it into this box.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
On this, yeah.
yeah, right here. There we go. Okay. So now drag the bottom of that box just up to make it like nice and neat to where there's no extra space.
Mhm.
So now every time you take a trade, before you even go to start documenting it, you're going to
Mhm.
read this section up here of your trading journal. You're going to read these rules and you're going to make sure that every single thing is present before you even consider getting into a trade. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. This is going to sound stupid, like we're like 10-year-old kids, but just for the fuck of it, just to kind of help drill it in a little bit more, just
Mhm.
read through each of your trading rules with me.
Right. Price forms a clear 4-hour support resistance level. Price clearly breaks past the 4-hour support and resistance level. Price comes all the way back to the 4-hour support resistance and retest it. Price begins to reject the zone, showing evidence on the 1 hour with candle closures that indicate price can break past the zone. If all of this occurs, enter a trade to profit from a bounce of the zone. Set the long short position tool on TradingView to target the previous recent high or low. Drag the stop loss to a 1-to-1 distance, and then feel free to close the trade early if it is logical to do so, and document what you did and what happened after you exited.
Pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
So the only thing is for rule number 6, do you understand what that means? The previous recent high or low?
Like the
It's just that
yeah,
wherever the
like
initial breakout was.
yeah, on the like the 4-hour, on the 4-hour.
Yeah. So it's just that first breakout. So it's like if you're in like a trade, like right here, there's like this resistance zone here. This is the 1 hour, but you get the same picture. And that's a support resistance zone. Price is broken, like it's a clear resistance, and then it broke past it, came back below, pushed up above, comes right here. You see this right here is one of those shit where it's like not like a clear test. It like doesn't come all the way up into it. This one comes all the way up, then it rejects. So right there, you could have the same sort of shit. You could have like, all right, enter after it rejects, set a target right here below the previous low. The reason this is the previous low is because that was just the lowest point of the initial first breakout. So that's what I mean when I say the previous higher low.
Ah, like that. Okay.
So that way it's super dirt simple. Like you can, like I said, you could literally be retarded and still probably make it work as long as you're just following the rules. So
Yeah.
that'll be the initial the recent low. So just the initial breakout low, wherever it went on the first breakout before it came back to retest. There's the rejection of H1, drag your take profit right there to the 1 hour, and then just drag your stop to wherever 1-to-1 would be. And then this will give you the pip distance for your stop loss. You know, what risk 100 euros, 500, 1,000 euros, whatever it is your risk is, and then let it play out. So you'll notice this after this came down, started going sideways here. You could have even, in this case, this could have been an area where you would have said, oh, maybe I should close it like right here because now it's starting to reject the zone. And so now you're like, all right, this was the previous breakout low where I was going to take profits at. But now, damn it, we've got this random support level that's formed. So it might be a better idea to close up here. So instead of making like 100 euros, you make like 80 euros instead. Yeah, it's like shit like that'll happen. This is all that subjective shit though. It's all the subjective side of trading. And then the next setup comes along. You have a support resistance level right here, all the recent lows, price pushes up into it. You have that simple rule on the 1 hour, which is just so damn simple. Like price begins to reject the zones, showing evidence in the 1 hour with candle closures that indicates price can't break past the zone. So literally just on that first little like pin bar rejection there, it's just candle didn't close above the zone to enter a sell. Put your stop loss, sorry, put your entry right before the previous lows right there. These are the previous breakout lows. You can have them there on your chart if you want. You can draw it in. And then your target at a 1-to-1. And then you would have gone candle by candle for a couple hours, would have been going sideways, touch the zone, another retest of the zone. There's no breaks above. And then in one candle, it went to the target.
Mhm.
In this case as well, it also gives you plenty of room because, you know, if this level is going to flip, it'll break above, then usually it'll come back and retest the zone, and you have an opportunity to get out of there at like -€5 or some shit like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oftentimes break even as well. And so, and then whatever happens, cool. If it bounces, you avoided a stop out. If it comes back below the zone, hey, you know, at least you didn't have to watch it for another day or two. So
Mhm.
having this type of stop loss gives you a lot more room to manage your trades, and you're less attached to the emotional outcome of like the next 5 minutes of it spiking back and forth, and you're like, losing your mind. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is a pretty simple trading system. So whenever you start your next week, so you have week 1 and you have week 2. So you haven't done your stats up for week 2, but whenever you start week 2,
Mhm.
you'll know that every single trade will have to follow all these trading criteria right here. It might also be a good idea if right now you go ahead and start week 2 and name it something like right here, maybe like week, yeah, like week 2 um updated trading system or something.
Yeah. I'll just maybe put the rules again, maybe. So like it's gonna
Yeah.
be like or something like that.
Even,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to put the rules, but just like right now, here, right now, just put like week 3 updated trading system. That way, you know that this is when you started following those exact rules for every trade. So that way it's like, it becomes clear.
Okay.
Trading this way, you're going to have, well, I mean, we'll see, right? This could completely fail. You'll be on another one-on-one call in 3 weeks with my team. Like, hey, I suck at life. I'm trying to kill myself. I'm just, but
I failed
most
also.
likely, most likely what will happen is you'll have a higher win rate. You'll take break evens on more trades instead of losses, and you'll also have fewer stop losses. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, it's fine because you'll have the data. You'll be able to see the same sorts of correlated things that are
Mhm.
consistently not working well as the same things that are consistently seem to be working well. That way you can just start chopping off the stuff that doesn't work very well. Start being like, all right, every time I take a trade, like right before, I don't know, like Asian session, it usually fucks up or something. You can start not doing that, but you'll start seeing this as the data presents itself.
Mhm.
The only thing I'd add if I were you here, you already have it. Okay, cool. So these are your notes. That's correct. Okay. So your notes, just make sure you're being detailed about this. This right here is where you grow as a trader by having these notes right here
Mhm.
meticulously documented. And not by just writing them there and then never looking at them again, but by documenting all your notes and then coming back to them and reading them at the end of the week to see how you manage your trade. All right, right. You sit down with like a coffee or a beer or a cup of tea and just go
Mhm.
through them one by one and see like, you know, why the fuck did I take this trade? Let's go and see. Did I meet my rules? Okay, yes. Did I manage it in a logical way? Yes. However, I think in the future, what I would do is this right here. And so have fun with it and go and like add that to your notes and say, this one seemed to work fine, but in the future, I think I'm going to do this instead because I could have taken a break even instead of a loss or something like that. And
Mhm.
but you'll document it all right there. The notes are where you grow as a trader because it shows you the logic behind why you did what you did. And most of the time, why the trade either worked out or didn't work out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, so that's all I have to say, like when it comes to all of that stuff. So we'll carry on to the next portion. Did you have any other questions or anything else you needed help with?
No, man. I just wanna. I think I'm gonna try this thing out for like a couple weeks and see how it goes. You know, like I wanna. I think that was the thing that I needed. I just like I'm too much. I overanalyze this shit too much and just start changing things up on the spot. So I think like I just gotta step back and just do this thing like monotonously.
Perfect, bro. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and stop the recording.